It's all about wood stoves today, guys, with a little bit of bonus content on wood stove fans. We're going to be looking at 3 different wood stoves. We're going to be talking about what you should be looking for if you are in the market for a new wood stove. And we're going to be talking about what it's like to practically live with one of these things in a real world application from different people that do this. This is not going to be like going to a store and having a salesperson talk you through features and things like that. This is going to be, hey, our heat, our lives depend on this thing working. Here's what we use. This is why we use it. And we're going to end this video with what I consider to be probably one of the most versatile and probably functional stoves for a lot of different situations right there. Frankie, you've had wood burners your whole life, haven't you?
Pretty much, yep.
You know, what would you tell people the main thing to understand when they're looking at buying a wood stove, Frankie?
Square footage of your house for the size of the stove, you know.
Okay.
Or the room that you're heating.
You want as large of a wood box as you possibly can, because at night you want to stick as much wood in there. You want to get your coals hot. Fill that up with wood as much as you can, and then dampen it down so that it just steadily produces heat without a flame.
Because a small box, you'll have to get up in the middle of the night and stoke it up. You know, you won't make it all night long.
You won't make it all night long. The smaller the box, the more often you're waking up and throwing wood in here. So.
I'm a true believer in these.
Yeah, you like these.
Heat exchangers or whatever they're called. Yep, because everything that's going out that stovepipe is just going out. Well, this takes all the heat that's going out your roof back into your house.
So we used to have a 55-gallon drum. We would use a 55-gallon drum for one and heat with another 55-gallon drum. All right, so let's go look at the other one. So this one is ready to go, Frankie?
Yeah, that one we can start a fire anytime.
So this is an older stove, but it's actually got a heat recirculator built right into the top. And the beautiful part about stoves like this is that you can put a pot of water on the top, and now you're humidifying.
This one's got the damper built right into the stove.
Yep. Built right there. And a stove like this doesn't cost an arm and a leg to do. I mean,
no,
you can pick these up off of Facebook Marketplace for $300 to $600 a pop, roughly. Yeah, there's your drafts right there. Yeah. So that's an important element. That's that draft we were talking about, the ability to control the draft.
Because if you don't got a draft, it's going to be harder to start your fire, and your fire ain't going to want to stay going, you know.
And you're going to get a reverse draft into the house.
Yeah.
What I've done in the past when I've had a reverse draft coming into the house, I open up a door.
Yep.
If it's bellowing into the house, go open up a door, and hopefully you open up the right door or window.
Go higher on your roof. You got to be over your peak. You should be over your peak of your house. The stovepipe should be.
The stovepipe has to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise you get downdraft, and that's what makes you get a hard draft out.
Yep. You're also going to need a heat perforated boot chimney. You can see it up there. It's orange. And it has to be heat rated. You can't just use any one. There's gray ones everywhere. You can get those. Those are not difficult to find. You need the orange ones. All right, for this last stove, it's the main source of heating and cooking, the primary source for both in the place that we're going to. But to get there, we got to take this. So let's hop in it and let's get going down the trail. To get to the next place, we have to take all back trails. There's no electricity, no running water, and this is the place that Cassidy and Tarzan have opted to make their home. And we're going to check in with them and see how this next stove is performing in real world conditions. The next wood stove that we're going to be looking at is the one that I personally picked out for the kids, and it's called a Nectar 550 wood-fired oven. And what it is, it's both a wood stove and a baker's oven built together. It can heat up to 2,500 square feet and kicks out 65,000 BTUs. It has both a built-in thermometer so that you know where your oven is at. It has a built-in cooktop and acts as the primary heat source for the place. So it does two things in one. But let's just check out how it actually performs in real life and see how the kids are doing with this thing. Oh yeah. Who's a good guard dog? Are you a good guard dog? Yeah, he's a good guard dog. All right. We made it out into the middle of, we call this the home place. It's our back 80 acres of land. We have no power, period. And the only primary source of heating, cooking, fuel, anything is right there. And so in a situation like this, you want to pick the absolute right stove, because it's got to do everything. Knock, knock, is anybody home? Hippies, wake up, it's noon, hippies. You know, noon. Hippies don't wake up, you know, because it's noon. Good morning, you guys. I mean, afternoon.
Morning.
Oh, thanks, Cass. So here's the yurt. As you can see, their only source of power is whatever they bring in. So you guys have been living with this wood stove now for a while, and it's January, coldest month out of the year. Tell me about how things have been going in here with that.
Great. It's like hot in here all the time.
Yeah? Really? Okay, so even when it's like 20 degrees out?
Yeah.
No, when it's 20 degrees out, that's when it's nice in here. When it's like negative 20, that's when it sucks. And that's when I wish we would have more insulation. But yeah, like any other times higher than that, it's really nice in here with this thing.
So have you guys cooked on it at all?
Yeah.
Every day, yeah.
Yeah, we've cooked everything on it, and like everything inside the oven too. And
So your firebox is on the top, and this does everything. Your cooktop is here, and then your baking stove is down here. But that also does something that other stoves don't do, and that's a heat recirculator. So that's giving you extra heat inside of it. But what this one does, this takes the heat, forces it down around the bake stove, and then back up through the flue. So it actually becomes almost like a high efficiency wood burning stove at that point. But does the baking part actually bake like you would think?
Oh yeah. Definitely bakes.
yeah, he's baked like everything in there, and it works so well, and
You
it tastes
bake
like
with it?
real food.
You want a brownie?
We've made like cakes and like wings and pizzas and I don't know.
How
It's
okay. How often do you have to redo the firebox? How often do you have to stoke it up?
if we're just hanging out, maybe like one decent sized log per hour or less. Maybe 3 logs for 2 hours or so.
Okay.
If we're trying to cook, we'll get it running like it is now. But if we're gonna bake something, it's usually at the end of the day, because it takes a few hours to get it up to the good cooking, baking temperature.
So you're using this thermostat down here for that?
Yeah, right now it's probably about like 150 because we just woke up. But in, let's say 3 or 4 hours, it'll probably be up to 300, 350.
And does it stay pretty consistent, that temperature?
Yeah, once it gets up there, it's not coming down until the next morning.
How about the flues? Now I know there was you guys had to, and we talked about it. You're gonna have to get used to how the flue on each wood stove works. Have you guys got that kind of dialed in yet, so you can tamper the stove down at night?
Yeah. So I bring this down a little bit, and that'll decrease the amount of air coming in through the top, and then I'll close the front a little bit, and then I'll get it to a nice burn.
It's basically like you want it open, you get more airflow, and closed, less airflow.
Right.
So open it when you want the fire to get bigger, and close it once it's big, you know?
And this one stove has been keeping up just fine. I mean, it's hot in here right now.
Yeah, we woke up this morning. I woke up a few hours ago, actually, and the fire was out, and I was like asleep in bed, and I looked at it, and I was like, meh. It's just like warm in here already, you know? I didn't even need to. So, and then we got this going, and last night it was even warmer outside, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And frickin' Sanoka could not be in here. She was like, we had to let her out like all night basically, and yeah, it was kind of unbearable.
Really?
So that's a good thing, because we've been freezing in here, and before we figured out the hearth, like how to work it, we could see our breath in here, like when we woke up in the morning.
Okay, so it took you a while, and we anticipated every stove, it takes a bit. I mean, it took me a good solid season to figure out my own fireplace, so that I could throw logs on it at night, fine tune it to where it needs to be so it would cook all morning, all night long, and then wake up in the morning and then have just enough embers that I could throw something on and not have to worry about getting it going again.
So when you wake up in the morning, it wouldn't be like a fire, it would be embers.
Embers.
Okay, yeah, that's what happens with us.
Oh, okay, so you get a nice hot bed of coals. That's perfect, because that means it's heating throughout the entire night, and you can just toss stuff back on, and you're good to go then, right?
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, thankfully that wood stove has been working out good for the kids. I wanted to bring you this video a lot sooner, but I also didn't want to jump the gun and start to recommend something if we hadn't actually put it through the test and found out just exactly how good it would work. So they've been living with this thing, using it as a primary source for both heating and cooking, and it's been performing phenomenally. Now, I bought mine directly from a place called bbqdirect.com. There's not a lot of places that sell these things, but these guys have been phenomenal to work with, so I would feel very comfortable buying another one from them, and I just might be doing that because I've got another project in the process right now. But that's all I got for you on this video. Hope you guys found something useful out of it. We're going back to our regularly scheduled program where it's snow plowing action, new tour reviews, and things like that. But I also want to try to bring you an off-the-grid living lifestyle, because we're attempting to build our own compound completely off the grid without being dependent on anyone else for anything at all. So if you have some suggestions on how to do that or resources, I would love, love, love to hear from you. That's all we got for you on this video. I'm learning like you are, and I hope you guys enjoyed this process today. God bless. Go get them, you guys.